y'all, I've got some beginner tips for Ghostrunner 2 to help you progress through the game. Maybe if you're struggling or you're new to this, maybe you didn't play the first one. I wish that I knew about these when I had first started. I think they would have really helped me out as I progressed through the game, made the game a little bit easier and a little more fun too. So I hope they help you out. If they did, let me know down in the comments below. I've got a few skills for you guys that you should focus on getting as you progress through the game that just make the game way better in my opinion and even easier. First one's going to be Ghost Thrusters. Okay, so dashing during combat makes you invulnerable to all projectiles and melee attacks. Dashing uses 10% more stamina though. It's so worth it. Its install cost is only 4. This has saved my life. I don't even know how many times. This is a must grab if you're struggling at all. But it's just so worth the install cost. 100% Ghost Thrusters. Next one's going to be Tactical Overlay. It's very self-explanatory. Enemies are outlined in red. This is just really easy to see enemies. So there can be a couple levels that are a little bit difficult to see. Some enemies mobs. So I recommend getting it. It also helps to kind of like plan out which enemies you're going to attack first as you're progressing through a level or trying to get to the next part. Smooth moves, really freaking nice. Okay, performing a perfect parry and deflecting projectiles is way easier. This is nice for the perfect parry, but where I really found use for this was deflecting projectiles. It did make it way easier, and it goes in so well with smart deflect. Deflected projectiles return to where they came from. So this is install cost 3. Those are pretty low, and they're definitely worth it. Just reflecting back bullets to enemies, killing them is so freaking nice. Next one's gonna be it's a high install cost. It's going to be Flow Shield. The install cost is 8, but when your combo reaches times 10, you receive a shield that protects you from one deadly hit, but only for the duration of the combo. This has probably only saved my life a handful of times, I would say, but when it did, it was really nice, really needed it. It was usually when there was a ton of enemies I had to clear to get to the next checkpoint, and there was a lot to deal with, and my combo reaches 10 times 10, obviously, and it saves my life. It's really nice. I recommend it, even though the install cost is 8. The next two, the last two I would recommend is Oiled Machinery. Shuriken skills cost 20% less energy. You should be using your shurikens all the time. They will save your life. They'll buy you extra time to deal with closing in on enemies. Throwing it to some type of mobs to be able to dash towards them. It's just so helpful. And for it to cost 20% less energy, yeah, that's a definite yes. Tracking system, you hit enemies more easily with the Shuriken skill. Obviously, this ties into this, but it just makes it nice overall, especially if you're using your Shuriken like you should be. The install cost is 6, but I think it's worth it for sure. If you don't feel like you're struggling with it, don't worry about it, but I would combo it for sure. All right, another basic tip for you guys, but it is so freaking helpful. I can't even tell you how important it is as you go through this game. If you are struggling with this game, if you've never played a game like this before, it's helped me get through certain levels, certain bosses with this, but it is to abuse your dash ability. And I mean really abuse this thing. You have a lot of stamina to use. You can dash over and over and over again. But what's really great about this though is something they'll teach you early on is if you hold your dash ability, you can move in directions, moving your analog stick or your WASD if you're on mouse and keyboard, if you hold it. But this is so, guys, I can't even tell you. It gives you an extra second or 2, maybe even 3 seconds to react to something. So if you're not sure what to do, if you get kind of stuck in a bad spot, holding your dash ability, moving sideways or anything like that, or just hold it to give you a second to decide what am I going to do and then go, it is so helpful. It's also going to be helpful when you have to deal with certain jumping puzzles that are more difficult. Let's say maybe you make an incorrect jump somewhere. You could go backwards. You could literally turn around like this, turn around, go back. You can also use it to go up higher a little bit if you're falling from a jump or if you're trying to get to a certain memory shard or a sword, a collectible, anything like that. So use your hold dash button as much as you can. It's incredibly helpful. It will help you get through this game. I promise. Another tip I have for you guys is 2 ultimates that are just so freaking good to abuse. There's going to be a little bit of a spoiler here. If you don't want to see what ultimates you get throughout the game as you're going through your playthroughs, feel free to skip this part. If you don't care, you want to know, then I'd recommend these 2 ultimates. So you have obviously 5 ultimates you get. You have Flux, Blink, Overlord, Sensory Overdrive, and Motoric Overheat. Okay, so the 2 I'd recommend are these 2, okay? Sensory Overdrive will give you, it basically slows down time and everything else around you, okay? So you can still move pretty fast here. You can kill enemies, but it gives you so much extra time to deal with the enemies, especially if you're on a difficult level. This is something I'd recommend for beginners, or if you've never played a game like this, you're really struggling on certain levels, something like this. This is so overpowered. It's crazy. And if you can increase the level of it, like in the motherboard here with your chips, then I would recommend them doing that too. You can see here, increases the duration of sensory overdrive. Each dash grants you the option to gap jam yourself towards an enemy for 2 seconds. This is so helpful. Just the level 1 by itself, this is helpful. So I'd recommend this one for sure if you're struggling. Or motoric overheat. For a short period of time, it boosts all of your motoric functions, allowing you to move faster, jump higher, and dash further. Guys, you just basically become super overpowered. Everything is faster. Everything's better about you. You already feel fast in this game. I feel like I can basically dodge everything. My mobility is insane. You can run on walls, all this stuff. This just makes everything better and easier to deal with. And then if you level this up, increase the energy regeneration rate when the motoric overheat is active. Level 3 makes you immune to 1 deadly hit when motoric overheat is active. This is insane. It literally will give you an extra life. So again, I'd recommend these two. I think they're much better than these 3. I played a lot with Blink. I played with Flux a little bit here too. And a little bit with Overlord, but personally, these two are so helpful. Sensory Overdrive they helped me through a couple levels, which were, I would say, frustrating, but definitely died more times than I should have. So I'd recommend these two. This tip is more like a trick, but something they don't tell you about in the game. Obviously, you can throw your shuriken at enemies and you can even kill some from far away. So I would recommend doing that when you can. But you can actually use it to buy you an extra second. If you hadn't noticed, when you throw shuriken to some enemies when you're far away, they'll actually dodge, but that will actually interrupt usually whatever ability that they're doing. So if you're versing some enemies that have like the fast firing rifle where it just repeatedly goes after you, if you throw a shuriken from them afar, it will interrupt their fire, give you an extra second to close in on that enemy and kill them. But obviously, just using your shuriken overall against the bots, that will stun them. There's a lot of enemies when you throw your shuriken, it stuns them, and then you can pull yourself towards them and kill them. It's just super helpful. Use your shuriken all the time. One of the tips I have for you guys, and it's a pretty basic one, something that they mentioned early on in the gameplay, but I wanted to stress the importance of it because I didn't really realize it early on, is to collect memory shards. They're actually so helpful to get. These help increase your motherboard level, which then helps you to put in more upgrade chips here, which just make you stronger. Some of them could, increase the level of your ultimate, make you move faster, give you extra shurikens to throw, make parrying easier, anything like that. It's so helpful. So this is really good if you're struggling with the game, if you're struggling with certain levels. To upgrade your motherboard level and put more upgrade chips in. It can help you get through some difficult parts. How you find these, they're scattered throughout each of the levels throughout the world. You'll see them on your mini map. It'll show just like these memory shard icons and kind of show you the general direction of them. Some of them can be pretty obvious to find. They're not that difficult to find, but some of them might have little puzzles or things you have to do to find them, to get them, which I actually really like, but just to keep an eye out for that. And then there's another thing that you can actually earn memory shards from, and that's the time challenges throughout the game. Some of these challenges could consist of throwing shurikens at a certain amount of objects within a certain time limit. Some of them could be mobility and traversal related, like going through certain rings. And there's usually different levels of this. There's bronze, silver, and gold. Usually silver and gold will both give you memory shards. Silver will give you 1, and gold will give you 2. So again, if you're struggling with the game, focus on getting these, do the time challenges, and even search for them throughout each level as you progress through the game. Thank you so much for watching. I hope these tips helped you guys out. Hope you guys are enjoying Ghostrunner 2 as much as I am. It has been a blast. I'm loving the gameplay, really enjoying the story. And yeah, I appreciate you watching. I'll catch you in the next video.